Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel today. I'm Kevin, and today we're back to our first World War topic. So, our topic today is about the world on desert. So, before we come into our topic or explain anything, I must tell you guys that I praise myself. I got a praise. I got a praise from the orthodontist. So, maybe that I won't speak. I mean, as an expert or clearly for you guys to hear because my teeth is hurt right now because I just like I get the brace and then it start to affect my teeth and it's make me feeling difficult to talk and sometimes even to control my voice. But of course it's just for 1 or 2 weeks. After that it's going to be normal again. Alright. So our topic today is about Arab and Egypt. So you guys know that the First World War is the war that includes many countries all around the world. But we never talk about the place that where is on desert, where is have Sahara, where is have Camel. That is the Arabia. I mean the Arab. So at the start of the war, the British already brought troops to the Middle East to defend their oil supplies. But they soon made plans to push further into the Turkish territories. And after the Gallipoli event, which the British didn't gain so much advantage, British commander decided that the only way to topple the Turks was to provoke their enemies to revolt, which is the Arab. So, under the Young Turks in the First World War, Arab citizens were treated as second-class citizens, and many had begun to talk about throwing out the Turkish rule. In October 1914, the British High Commissioner in Egypt began negotiating with the Arab leader, which is Sharif Hussein of the Mecca. He offered to supply money and arms for a revolt against the Turkish people. And of course, they promised that the Arabs would be the one who is left to hold the power to rule for their own citizens and for their own countries, for their own nation after the Turks was defeated. And in Cairo, the British set up the Arab Bureau, whose staff lies with Arab leaders to build the support to the revolt after the Arab leader accept accept the deal, which to get support, supplies, and help from the British to fight against the Turks. And Arab leaders are promised and plan to build the support for the revolt, both taking the advantage and things supplies from the British and making a plan of themselves. And among them was an idealistic young intelligent officer named Thomas Edward Lawrence, which is also known as Lawrence of Arabia. But we are going to talk about him later. Alright? So meanwhile, British and Indian forces were advancing up the Tigris River to Mesopotamia, and they already take advantage and captured some place is Parsa, Kurna, and Kut. And in May 1915, they began to push to the north toward the Baghdad, the regional capital of the Turk. In November 1915, British and Indian troops were close to Baghdad, where they met tough Turkish resistance. And in that fight, half of the 8,500 men were died. So they decided to, retreat back to the Kurd city. But the Turks didn't leave them alone. They chased and then sieged them inside the Kurd. And the British force tried to sail up to the Tigris blaze to rescue the teammate, but a heavy flood has blocked their way at that time. In March 1916, Lawrence has also undertook a secret mission, on the other hand, to attempt to pay the Turkish generals to end the siege. But because the siege is a very big advantage, so the Turkish didn't interest on taking the payment so that they could leave the team. So before we keep talking about this, we must know that the Turkish is far more outnumbered than the British and the Arabs. So when they got into the siege, it means that they could make a difference because they could defeat or make a whole team surrender. And that's why the advantage from this thing is very big that maybe no payment could match it. Yeah, I mean, uh, unless it's the payment or some things that's available. For example, a miles of territory. Yeah, just for an examples like that. So the Turkish didn't interest in leave the team. I mean, leave the British team alone. So because of being siege and after 147 days of being captured just in the cut and with the men dying like flies, like insects because of sickness and starvation. The British at that time finally surrendered on April 19, and that is also when the plan stopped, but not stopped for the Arabia. I mean for the Arab, just for the British. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Lawrence of Arabia, which is one of the most important leaders on the Arab land. Before the war, these guys had learned Arabic and grown familiar with local custom while studying archaeology in the Middle East. At Arab Bureau, he gathered information about the Turks' military strategy, their strength and weakness, which helped from Lawrence and the Arab Bureau. Sharif Hussein, which is the leader of the Arab, finally took up the arms against the Turks in June 1916, which is after which is really close to the time that the British surrender because the British attacked the Turks before the Arab make their attack. All right. So after that, within 3 months, the Arab force had captured Mecca, Jeddah, and Taif, and were advancing to the north. In October, Lawrence joined Hussein's son's Emir Faisal in charge of part of the Arab military. He decided to adopt and change his dress into the Arab side. This thing has irritated his commander, which is British, but it helped him to get more comfortable and the acceptance among his fellow warriors, among his fellow teammates. It was practical too, as the head, let's say the head glove, all right, the things that we wear, the Arab people wear on their head. So this thing helped him to stay out, protect his head from the heat of the sun because they're fighting at desert. And that's why the Arabia people also gain more advantage from the Turks because of their special clothes. The Turkish army far outnumbered from the Arab force and also the British force, as I said before. So Lawrence has advised the Faisals to use guerrilla tactics against the Turks. These tactics, which is we could call the assassinate tactics, because they use it to attack Turks when the night comes, which means they just like assassins, they just attack when the night comes. They making trap, they mining bridge, they blocking the supplies of the enemies and don't let them cannot communicate with each other. And that's why they slowly gain more and more advantage every night pass. They carried out night raids on Turkish camp and mine bridge and train lines to sabotage their communication and supplies. This thing has successfully forced the Turks to divert large number of troops away from the fighting elsewhere, including Mesopotamia. The British saw the chance to renew their campaign in Mesopotamia and take back what they have lost, so they sent in the reinforcement, heavy artillery, and also support for the Arabs to attack on the Turks. and they have a new commander, Sir Stanley Mott. He made a rapid process, retaking Kut in February 1917 and capturing Baghdad on March 11, with much of Mesopotamia now in Allied hands and the Arabs in revolt, which is a good thing for the British because the revolt is also aiming at defeating the Turks. The Turks look closely to their own defeat. Alright, so that's all I want to talk with you guys today about the fight in desert and about the Arab, I mean the Arab action during the First World War. And one more time, sorry for my praise because I mean it make it difficult to communicate with you guys and talk clearly. So if you want to hear me talk clearly, maybe you have to wait. Alright, so it's all I want to talk with you guys today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And now I think it's time for say goodbye then. See ya!